Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to give a brief channel update and wanted to start by saying thank you all for the support that you have been giving to me, both those of you who support me directly through Patreon and things like that, as well as just the generic support of liking the videos that I produce and commenting and so forth and sharing them on different pages. But I just want to give a brief update to my personal situation. I was recently laid off from my job. It is definitely unfortunate timing. I was not expecting it on any level, as most people don't ever expect it when it happens, I would assume. But it is where I'm at, and I've had to figure out what to do next. And I've got several different options on the table, but one of them that I'm very, very, very excited about is the idea of pushing to do YouTube full time. And I'm not at the point yet where the income that's coming in from this is even close to replacing my salary, but I'm also not doing anywhere near as much for the channel as I'd like to. And as those of you who've interviewed with me know, sometimes you wait weeks, if not months, before your interview gets posted because I'm just so busy between work and my four small children and so forth. But at the same time, I think that the income that I do receive from the channel, which is again small at the moment, could increase exponentially and make it a replacement for my salary if I'm able to drive this really hard in the next few weeks and months. So at this point, I am planning on doing that. I'm planning on going full time with YouTube. The date for that would be approximately the beginning of April, when you'd start to see some more content more frequently, hopefully, and a lot more of it coming, a lot more varied eventually. The overall plan would include other channels besides the Harmonic Atheist channel. There are several different venues I've been brainstorming about for a while, and in the last week, I've been just going crazy with ideas for things that I want to do with those other channels, things I didn't expect to have time to do anytime soon, and hopefully I will, as I make this the top priority. The other channels, once I've got some decent content on them, I'll be publishing them here, so people that would want to take a look at those can like and subscribe to those too. They're very varied. The other channels are going to include some things for an atheist channel for children, so that parents can help their kids to protect their minds. There's also a channel that's just more for my kids. It's about things that I've wanted to do for them. I make up songs for them every single week, make up new songs and sing them to them, and stories that I tell them at night when they're going to sleep. And I thought, why not make those into something special that they can appreciate and listen to whenever they want to, things like that. There's also going to be some reading of books, just where I read books for kids, including some books that I'm working on writing. So that may be a different channel, but we'll see how that plays out. I'm still very much in the planning phase of some of these other channels. So some of these I'm trying to figure out what's the best place to do it all, and how to divide it up. There's also going to be some ASMR. If you're familiar with that, what that is, ASMR for kids as well as ASMR for adults, separate channels there. There is also going to be a channel for ambient noise, which, if you're familiar with how to do that, pretty cool stuff. I'm going to be working on my musical skills quite a bit in the next year to two. Everything from piano to guitar and just any kind of musical creation you could think of. I'm working on it exponentially, as well as, of course, a lot of a cappella stuff. I'm also going to be working on several other niche channels, which I may at some point push here. But the goal with having a variation of channels is, of course, to have a variation of income, so that eventually I could potentially, hopefully, in the next few months even, start to see enough income from all the channels that I could easily find it a safe place financially to pursue going forward. The focus, of course, would be primarily on the Harmonic Atheist channel, call it a 70-30 split in terms of my efforts. But I will be working on this just about nonstop. I guarantee that it will be 110% effort, until this is well taken off and flying. The Harmonic Atheist page itself, YouTube channel, is going to be primarily focused on, of course, the interviews, but I'm also going to be doing a lot more research behind the scenes that I've been working on, but I'm going to be pushing to get that forward. I've got a lot of other things that I've been working on creative-wise for the Harmonic Atheist channel that I'm really excited to be moving forward on, things that I can't even describe them yet because they're so, number one, exciting, and I want them to be a bit of a surprise when they come to fruition. But some of them, there's a lot of legwork that has to go into them behind the scenes before I push them to the front. I'm also going to be working very hard on the projects, which I've mentioned before, such as the Enoch project. A lot of you have asked directly, can you really help us, put it on a silver platter like you've talked about? Where does the New Testament quote the book of Enoch? How does it play out? What does Enoch have to do with all this? And why is it so important, to the point that this is ridiculous that we're not talking about Enoch almost all the time? I think Enoch is a topic that we need to be talking about in almost every conversation about the origins of early Christianity and the Jesus cult that occurred in the second century AD. I'm also working a lot on affirmations. Affirmations, a lot of my channel is focused on healing and people telling their stories, but the focus after you go through your story is to say, how do you reclaim your identity? How do you start over? How do you become the best person that you can be now that you're free of these mythological worldviews? And a lot of that for me has always been affirmations, where you just tell yourself the truth over and over and over and over and over. And so I've got a page that's probably going to be a different YouTube channel that I'll be working on for affirmations for people that have deconverted but are trying to heal and trying to reprogram their minds apart from mythology. That I may combine it, I may separate it, but that's still to be decided. But I'll publicize all this once it's started, and there's some content that's worth pushing. I am going to be working hard on a project that's been a pet project of mine. This will probably be on the Atheist Kids or Atheist Family channel, so to speak, which I'll come up with a title for that shortly. But basically to say, when kids go to Sunday school and they hear these stories, Jesus walking on water, Jesus wearing a purple robe and a crown of thorns, all these different stories that they read, even Old Testament stories, Moses with the tablets, the Ten Commandments, Jonah and the belly of the whale, trying to look at all these stories and say, where did these come from? Because we either know directly, or it just sounds like they copied it from somewhere else. And then when you get into it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I see where that one came from. Okay, that's one. I see where that one came from. And it just adds up. Everything from Dionysius turning water into wine, to Hermes and other gods walking on water, to Helios having a purple robe and a crown of thorns, to Zeus crying drops of blood, tears as if they were drops of blood. It goes on and on and on, the places that they copied the stories from to make the Jesus stories up. And I would like to create a cartoon, as it were, and that will both be a YouTube video, many videos, as well as eventually books. And that's another side I should mention. I'm going to turn a lot of my content into books that could be, purchased. That's more of a long-term goal. So the first goal is the videos, but to eventually be able to show kids and say, hey, kids, let's look at the stories. Let's look at where they came from. And that will be something where parents could watch them themselves to get educated, but also show them to their kids and say, like, isn't this cool? And again, the goal is not to be belligerent about it, but to say, we need to have the information. If you're going to tell people to believe in this stuff, tell them where it came from first. And that includes a lot of the Greek mythology, of course, a lot of the Homeric epics, a lot of Enoch, and the predecessors of where Enoch came from Mesopotamia and so forth, a lot of stuff from Egypt, all these stories that came about that so many groups are doing such a good job with, Myth Vision, Atheologica, Dragons of Genesis, other channels, they're doing such a good job telling you where this stuff came from. But the hard part for me, when I look at some of these just conglomerations of information, is it's so intensive, where you're talking to people who are, they can go right over our heads so fast. And, they're talking about Josephus, and they're talking about these other first century church fathers. They're talking about all these different sources that, if you're not familiar with them and you're not really into that, it can be very overwhelming. And you just kind of want, what's the bottom line? Like, where did they copy this thing from? Where is this most likely originating from? And, how much of this should I take as gospel truth, pun intended, and versus just another version of mythology? And so we're going to put it on a silver platter, make it easy for kids and adults as quickly as I can. That will be quite a few months away, of course, because anything that I'm talking about doing here, I don't want to do it halfway. I want to do it really well. And that will include both my doing it really well, and then checking and rechecking, and then going to a small audience and saying, hey, can you check this? Do you think this is there something I'm missing here? Let's get a majority consensus from our people that are researching this with us and saying, does this sound right? Is there something here where we're confusing things and mixing things up? Not to say that, you can't still get an idea of how they could have copied from those scenarios, but I want to get actually stuff that's academically sound. We can say, yeah, this is the same story. They just rewrote it. And those stories, the list of that is in abundance. I'm also going to be working in a similar project that I've been working on behind the scenes, but I want to get that to the front as well. When we say they're quoting from the book of Enoch a lot, as in like 200 times, they're also quoting from a lot of other sources, a lot of other sources. I've got a list going. I'm going to be working on checking, double checking, triple checking that, getting it out to a small audience, having them check it, and then start to publish that so that that is on an easy level. That is not necessarily for the kids channel, but for the Harmonic Atheist channel. And between the Enoch quotes and the quotes from other sources, I think those two are going to knock it out of the park in terms of helping people say, yeah, this doesn't sound right. If you want to claim this is an interesting worldview that's got some interesting things like, a soft answer turns away wrath, and if you have an enemy, turn the other cheek. There are times when some of these platitudes can come in handy. There's times when when they're not handy, they end up doing you wrong. But you can pick and choose what things you feel like you want to use as part of your personal worldview from them. But a lot of them don't even come from Jesus. A lot of them that you think, oh, that Jesus said that's cool. They came from a different source a long time earlier. And to know those things and to have the full freedom of information right in front of you, that's my bread and butter. That's my heart, my passion. And I want to give that to people. I think we all deserve it. We deserve to know easily, simply, like, don't make me read 30,000 books to get to the bottom line. Give it to me straight, give it to me easy, make it so that anyone that doesn't know who the hell Josephus is and what Homer did in the Odyssey, tell me simply, what did they do? And giving people, of course, the option to dig deeper. Okay, that's interesting. I like that. How do I find out more? How do I go past your channel to the other deeper resources out there? So those things combined, a lot of songs for kids in terms of protecting their minds for against the Christian worldview, as well as on my kids channel, a lot of songs that I just write. I write songs every single week for them, and new songs, and they love it. And I want to take some of those and clean them up, and then sing them so that other kids could go to sleep to them. Probably would be how it would be used. Something you'd put on YouTube when your kids are going to sleep, and just something that makes kids think, my mom and dad are thinking about me. They're sending good messages to me. They're supporting me. They're amazed by how I grow and learn. Even through the hard days, I'm loved. I'm forgiven for being a kid that sometimes is selfish and sometimes even a brat to my siblings or something. That through all the ups and downs of life and all the ups and downs of childhood, my mom and dad have my back. They love me. They support me. They think I'm great. They don't think I'm a sinner. They think that I'm just a child who needs to grow and gain wisdom and how to love each other better and how to leave this planet better than we found it. But I'm not a sinner. There's not a God who's angry at me. And I'm just affirmed and loved and cared for and supported and helped and loved. When I've got a rough day, my parents just wrap their literal or figurative arms around me and tell me it's going to be okay. Let's walk through this together. They need that kind of support. And that's what I've been doing in real life with the kids. So I'm excited. All those are going to add up to quite a few channels. I would say easily this year, there'll be about 8 different YouTube channels. Probably by next year, there'll be about 12 to 15. Some of them will grow slowly where it'll be like 1 video a month. Others it'll grow quick, faster, where it'll be 2 or 3, 4 a month. And the Harmonic Atheist channel will be, again, my top priority, where eventually I'll be hopefully I'd like to do 1 to 2 interviews a week if possible, eventually maybe by the summer. So that's my update. If you've watched this far, I know I've been kind of rambly here, but I just wanted to make sure you all know, especially those of you who are my supporters, my Patreon supporters, let you know what I'm up to and what's changing, and why I appreciate your support so much, and why this is a critical time for me. I'm excited. I've got a lot of ideas. I literally sometimes feel like I can't write the ideas down fast enough. I'm like, by the time I write down the 2 or 3 that just came in my head, the 4th one that I had as well, it's gone. It's just, they're coming at me so fast. It's like a fire hydrant, and it's cool. It's really, really cool because there's just so much. And a lot of it at this point is just organizing it, branding it, figuring out how to do the graphics, and just figuring out what's the top priority. If you've got 40, 50, 60 ideas that you want to tackle this week, you can't do them all today. You got to pick, I'm going to do these 5 today, these 10 today, and prioritize it and try to get something created and published, and then move on to the next ones. So it's exciting. The long and short of it is, we have a lot to say. We have a lot of beautiful things to share for people that are deconverting and to support their families and their kids. We have a lot of creativity, and being an atheist is fun because you have a lot of open fields, open vistas to explore different ideas that you've never thought of before. And I will just add on that note, a final thing I'm working on. I really feel like the channel, one of the key pieces that I'm missing in terms of focus, is on the sexual healing that occurs after deconversion. Seeing yourself post purity culture, post shame culture, seeing how you really are and letting go of the bad ideas that you got from Christianity. And really, in a nutshell, how to embrace eroticism, how to really embrace eroticism and pleasure. And I'm still brainstorming how to best do that. There's some levels to which that couldn't happen on YouTube because of their, things that they don't allow. So there's some things that I can't do there, but I'm still brainstorming ways to make that a big part of this platform eventually. Not necessarily YouTube, but some platform. Eroticism is really important. Being able to embrace pleasure, embrace who you are, and also to love your partner really, really well. To just truly bless your partner and help them, and make their lives wonderful together. Those are such beautiful parts of life, and they make families better. They make, kids need to see that moms and dads are just happy people together. You see them in the kitchen cooking together. You see them giving hugs and kisses, and you see them laughing together, or doing a little dance together here or there. Put in a little swing dance music and do a quick dance and make the kids want to learn how to swing dance. Just the sweet nothings of kids hearing their parents say, "I love you, sweetie. Have a good night," to each other. As parents, the beauty of that, as to demonstrate and model that for kids, it doesn't happen unless behind the scenes, in the parts of life that the kids uh, aren't privy to, of course, that bond is tight, and that bond can't be tight if people are neck deep in purity culture and trying to hurt each other, effective, either directly or passively. People need that side of life to just flourish, the erotic side of life, the pleasure side of life. And when you have that flourishing, it comes out in the rest of your life. It makes you, puts a spring in your step and makes you feel like you're just delighting in other people and in yourself. And I haven't been able to really expand that erotic content too much. I am working on some erotic stories. I may end up putting those into some kind of Amazon book. I haven't really explored that yet, but some way to embrace eroticism more and more and more. That definitely will include some things with photography in terms of fine art nudity, and some other art that I'm working on thinking through. But I want to expand that, and I certainly welcome ideas from people. All told, though, that's kind of the end of the discussion in terms of the ideas that I'm exploring so far. But when you add them all up, Harmonic Atheist, kids channels, atheist kids channels for families too, some kind of erotic content of some kind, or at least topical content about eroticism, ambient background page, ASMR for adults, ASMR for kids to sleep to, and a lot of other niche channels too. You add that all up, and it's a lot. It's like, whoa, where do you even start with some of this stuff? And those are just the topics. You still have to work on, okay, well, are you putting music to some of this? What music do you play? What music are you going to play? What programs do you need to be able to make these certain videos? What skills do you need to add to your repertoire to be able to use some of those advanced programs? I'm exploring photography, videography, and music programs like crazy right now, and I'm excited about some of them. Some of them are a little bit beyond my pay grade, but I'm going to get there. Some of them I can use with just a little bit of training. I'm excited. My skill level, hopefully with Photoshop and After Effects, and these other video programs and a lot of other musical programs is just going to eventually explode over time if I can take this to the direction I want to take it. This is going to add up. Right now, it's going to be a hard journey, and I need to work my tail off. Honestly, I mean, I will be busy, and I know that some of you send me emails and say, "Hey, can we just chat? I want to chat about my situation, and I know your marriage is hard, and my marriage is hard too. Can we talk and be friends?" And I apologize that for some of you, the curve for me to get back to emailing you back or calling you is going to be a while. It's just between this effort and I need to put all my cards into it because otherwise it's not going to pay off quick enough and I'm going to be up a creek financially. But I need to do this diligently. And I will try to get back to those of you who write as quick as I can, I promise, but it's not going to be immediate for a lot of you. I also want to get to a point where when I do an interview with somebody, they see it within a week or two. Some people have waited literally a year. So there's some interviews you're going to see shortly that happened over a year ago. That breaks my heart. People are very patient, but that shouldn't be the way it works. I want to get to a point where if someone says, "Yeah, let's do an interview," say they do an interview on a Sunday morning with me, that within 2 Sundays, they most likely are going to see it posted. I think that's very an appropriate time frame, and I want to get there. I want to take that processing time frame down. I'm also looking at just ways to collaborate, ways to collaborate with other channels. And I'm also trying to focus a lot on resources where I mentioned the Enoch project and the other project where the quotes from the New Testament, but there's other resources people need, resources about purity culture. I've got so many ideas. I've been saving stuff and writing stuff and jotting down notes for the last few years, but it's just been sidelined because I had been working a full-time job and taking care of the kids. Eventually, I think this is going to become like a well-oiled machine where it's like, okay, Monday you're going to spend, the first 6 hours on Harmonic Atheist, and you're going to spend 2 hours on these other channels, and then Tuesday you're going to break it down a little differently, or it's things like that, figuring out the schedule, but making sure that all these pieces start moving, and the most important ones move quick, the less important ones still move, and eventually it's going to add up. I hope. I appreciate your support again. If anyone wants to support me, it's probably more important than ever. But I don't want to turn this into a channel where I'm constantly asking for people to hit the bell, like, and subscribe. I do put that at the end of some of my videos for Harmonic Atheists, but at the end of the day, if people want to support me, hopefully that's obvious that they'll find a will to do so. But I'm not going to try to get on and beg all the time for help. But I'm hopeful that eventually this will just kind of snowball into a thing where I'm making it, even if people can't always support me like they might like to. But there's still ways to support people, channels like mine and others that you hear of. Like, again, I mentioned the other ones that I love, just to name a few. Myth Vision, of course, with Derek Lambert, Atheological with Derek Bennett, and Dragon's Genesis with Jason Folks. And there's a lot of other really good ones doing some great stuff. But if you can't support them financially, can't support me financially, totally cool. But share videos where you can on Facebook pages, at least like and so forth. Those little things do add up to the algorithm, and it does end up making a difference to the bottom line. So thank you for your support. I will just add one final note. A lot of you have asked, how my personal life is going. I'll put a link beneath this video if you want to check that out. Other videos that will explain it a lot better, but it's not going very well. Personal life is not going very well. I'm brokenhearted more and more every day. And the toxicity that I'm faced with and that I'm trying to not let get to me is in my face. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to walk this journey alone. And it's been helpful, though, in the one sense, and I mentioned this before in my interviews, the passive aggressive, toxic, abusive, gaslighting behavior that we receive as deconverted people. When you see that up close, it helps remind you, and it helps confirm that your suspicions were correct. There's no power in the gospel. These people are just as nasty as ever. They're as nasty as if they had never heard the name of Jesus. People that have been in the church, hearing the name of Jesus, teaching the name of Jesus for decades, their nastiness shines through. And the attractiveness of, we'll know they're Christians by their love, it falls completely flat on its face. And so that does help to confirm. I didn't feel like I needed confirmation, but I feel like as a general dynamic, it does help people confirm, yeah, I was right. Like escaping Christianity made no difference. I'm a happier, more loving, more tender person with a greater morality and a greater joy for life, a greater love for people than I ever had as a Christian. I'm less judgmental. I'm more understanding and compassionate and patient and sympathetic, all that good stuff. And obviously, of course, the biggest one of all, and I don't have a mythological worldview. I am not stuck neck deep in a blood magic, human sacrifice, death cult. I'm just not. And it's great. I love it. I'm free. I'm free to be who I want to be, not what some system from dead men tells me I should be. So all that to say, um, life's hard, and it feels like in some ways, honestly, it's getting harder. Again, if you want to watch the videos, I'll link beneath this one. But I would say my resolve and my confidence is at the same time growing. Confident that I'm taking the right course for my own heart to heal it. Long-term celibacy sucks. It really does. But you know what? I am very confident in the healing process that I've been going through and that I'm trying to do more and more of, and for my kids as well. And I appreciate, again, those of you that have supported me in that. But you add it all up, and it's like, this is a hard journey, but this is the lot. These are the cards you've got in your hand. So play them as well as you can. And despite the setbacks, there's time to lick your wounds. There's times to grieve. There's times to just be sad. And I go through that like everybody else. It really stinks to be going through this alone and to not be able to even touch your own spouse and so forth. But we all get, as they say, to the bottom of the barrel sometimes. But you don't have to lick the splinters when you get there. Don't lick them on purpose. Dust yourself off. Figure out what you can do to heal if you can. Get whatever help you can. Help yourself. Always leave the darkness for the light. And Christianity is absolutely intense darkness. If you've gotten out, you've already left an overwhelming amount of darkness for the light of life, the light of beauty, the light of reality and the truth. Do what you can to focus on what good things have come of this. And at that point, just resolve. I am going to take my eyes off of my sadness, my loss, my aching, and I'm going to make a difference for those who are most needy in my circle of influence, which is, of course, primarily first and foremost, kids, if you have them. Whatever they need is what you need to work on. Whatever they need to be happy, healthy, whole, protected, loved, cared for, sheltered, equipped, informed. Do what you need to do first and foremost for them, for the little ones. They are your sheep, so to speak, and you are their best shot at having a good shepherd. They need to be protected from the wolves, and there's a lot of wolves. At that point, once you've done what you can for the kids, do what you can for yourself. Be selfish sometimes. Focus on yourself, and don't let this stuff, though. Don't let the darkness of Christians shunning and forced celibacy and arrogance and gaslighting. Don't let it become your story. Your story is not what people say about you. Your story is not what people think about you or how they respond to you or whether or not they like you and whether or not they think you're an idiot. Your story is what you make it. And I want to encourage those of you who are going through hard times, and I know a lot of you are, because I see emails every week, every day, way more than I can possibly respond to, but I see it. The aching is real and it's intense. And some of you, it's like it's living hell. If there were a hell, you're living it now. And it's horrible. It's truly horrible. And there's no easy answers, but I do know that to me, there's a value in saying, I can make a difference. I can make a difference to certain people's lives who are desperate for hope in these situations, desperate to confirm their suspicions that this Christianity stuff was truly garbage, as they've been thinking, but they've been wondering and vacillating. And to say, how do I reclaim my identity and how do I gain joy when everything that I had held dear is gone, meaning this Christian worldview, and all those who I thought loved me now hate me and treat me like a traitor. And there's some really cool things coming this year from this channel alone, and in addition to other channels too that do great things, but great ways to equip people to say, It's going to be okay. We're going to get better and better equipped. We're going to give you the tools to help some of your loved ones escape. Some of them will just never do it. They don't care to listen. They're going to dig their heels in and double down and stick their fingers in their ears and never listen to you. But some of your loved ones, they just need some of the equipping that we're going to give in terms of where this story came from of the New Testament. But you, even if your loved ones don't listen and never escape, you need to be happy and healthy and whole and artistic and creative and growing and learning how to love yourself first and love others around you as well. The more that you do that, the more beautiful life becomes. And the more you find your creativity that you're like, I can't make a difference. All of a sudden, you are making such a difference on so many levels, on so many topics with so much creativity that you can't find enough hours in the day to do stuff. You just want to help people so much and learn so much. And it's like you just want to explode from the inside out with the joy of being able to give back to people now that you are outside of Bible prison. Those things add up. They add up a lot, and they've added up in my heart like crazy. I can't, like I said, I can't write down my ideas fast enough, and I can't get them. I can't get them the videos and the graphics designed fast enough. Who knows? Maybe someday this channel will explode, and I'll actually be able to hire some people and move forward faster on graphics and video production. Wouldn't that be cool? That's probably a couple of years away at best. But take whatever skills you've got and increase them. Make a YouTube channel if you want to. Start interviewing at least on YouTube channels. Do what you can. Write a song. Make a book. Do something. But get involved on some level that that lets your creativity shine. And I think you'll find, as I have, that eventually, over time, that platform expands and your skills grow. People want more from you. They're like, well, what else you got? This is cool. What else you got? Surely you've got more, on the plate that you can give us. This was course number one. We like the salad, but where's the main course? And it just grows. It grows. And we realize for ourselves and for others that these platforms end up becoming some of the richest parts of our lives. And eventually you also, of course, realize that these platforms that we go to, we all go to them, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, we go to them for help and support, but we realize too that they're online. Like a lot of you will never meet me, and I'll never meet you, which breaks my heart. But these are online relationships. They're not real life. But what they do is they equip you, they give you the freedom, so to speak, to build these online relationships a little bit, but then to step back. And when you step away from them, you're more free than ever to just embrace your life, whether it's eroticism and with your partner, or just your desire to go out and be taking nature walks or writing a book or whatever it is, or even just the interpersonal relationship that you have with people you meet at the grocery store, where you're like, I just want to put a smile on people's faces. I want to say hello to everybody. How you doing? It's good to see you. And you find yourself flourishing across the board. And the more that you flourish, the more you take whatever creativity you have and let it expand and expand and expand, you just find yourself a whole new person. And I think for a lot of you, and hopefully myself, the doors will open themselves. You will find yourself not with a question of, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to help the community. I don't know how to help my friends or these people that reach out to me. I don't know what to do next. I've got so little to offer. It switches to the other side where you're like, I have so much I want to offer, and I'm willing to offer, and I'm willing to equip myself to offer. I don't have enough time in the day and enough pens and notepads to write down the ideas. And you find yourself saying, this is awesome. My life is completely different. And in a sense, I am on a mission. I was on a mission before, obviously, to share the gospel and tell people that they need Christ. But you're on a mission now, a real mission, not a pretend mythological mission. You're on a real mission now to help people who are struggling and drowning, and to help them embrace their new life, to reclaim their identity, and to then turn and make a difference for other people. And we may be the kind of people that Christians would say, oh, you have no values, you have no meaning to your life, apart from ancient Greco-Roman Canaanite blood magic. Blows my mind what the claims they make. But you find that even though those old purposes are no longer there and they're just ridiculous, you find new purpose comes along, and you get the freedom to create your purpose. You get to define and say, whatever time I've got left, whether it's a year or 10 years or 30 years or 50 years, whatever time I've got left, I am going to shine. And when I leave, people are going to say, he made a difference. She made a difference. The difference is palpable. And they left a heritage that is going to expand for generations to come, where people are going to say, what they did made us healthier, happier, more whole, and it let us look at the beautiful sunshine and the sky and the clouds in the sky, and made us want to be artists and poets. It made us want to think deeper thoughts, to be philosophers. It made us want to get away from the surfacey stuff. Like, who cares what people think about you? Who cares how glossy your photos are? It made you want to be truly a better person on the inside and truly take the best of you and help other people to be the best for themselves. And when you put that in the context, especially of small children, ooh, the motivation comes. It comes like gangbusters. Motivation on fire. Our hearts were on fire before for Jesus, for mythology, because they tricked us so badly and brainwashed us. But you want to talk about hearts on fire? You get people who are freed from Bible prison who think to themselves, I have every bit of information about how you all did this. I know your guerrilla warfare tactics in terms of brainwashing. I know what you did to us. I know how you did it. I know how you accomplished it, and I know how to undo it. I was the inside guy. I know how to undo what you did. I know the passwords. I know the secret codes. And you get people like that who are so well equipped. You get them on fire, full of joy and love and creativity in their hearts. We can move mountains. We can absolutely move mountains. And we're gonna move mountains like gangbusters. This year, I'm excited about, more excited about than I've ever been. You say, oh, you just lost your job. Goodness, how bad is that? It's not good news. And it's really not in some ways. It's scary. But at the same point, this is a chance for me to take what I do and what I know and what I can, my skills and my chance for more skills, take it to the next level, step up to the plate and show up big, move these big rocks. And when there's something where we need to show up, we show up big, we get things done. We get things done and we make a difference. And that's happening. I will promise you, especially for those of you who are supporting me directly, but just those of you who are kind of emotionally supporting me and love what the channel's doing, how it's expanding. I promise you, I will give 110% at all times. I will not always meet everyone's expectations, and I certainly will try my best to not disappoint people on purpose, but I guarantee I am giving 110%. I'm working, every minute that I can, I'm working on this. And I will expand it in a way that will hopefully give us the freedom to start doing an interview a day. Who knows? Maybe by 2025-ish, give or take, I'll be doing an interview every single day and posting it that afternoon. Who knows? Cool things could come of this. But in the meantime, while it's growing, I guarantee I am going to move some big rocks behind the scenes and eventually in public where everyone can see them. We are going to get this done. And we're going to make such a difference, especially, again, Enoch Project and some other similar projects. Ooh, those things they're going to light the fire. They're going to light the fire. It's gonna be like, where they string those firecrackers where it's like 1,000 of them and you light one, it just boom, 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 boom. We're going to light some fires and it's going to be cool stuff. People won't be able to drink from that fountain fast enough. But we're going to give it to them in a way that helps people to drink at their own pace and to walk away thinking, yeah, this is mythology. I can't believe I wasn't told this stuff. This is stupid. I should have been told. You guys were very deceptive. Now I know, and I know where to find more of it. I know enough now to know it's mythology, but now I know how to look for more and more and more. You guys, I can't unsee what I've seen. You'll never get me again. You'll never trap my mind again with this garbage. That's exciting. That's exciting. I hope you see my passion. I hope you see my drive. I hope you see my desire to protect kids' minds and to help equip your minds and to associate with and build bridges with other channels that are doing some great things too. good things are coming. Good things are coming. And I just want to finish by saying I appreciate your support so much on whatever level you can give it. But please keep an eye out, even if all you do is just, check in with my channel every week or two to see what's Tim up to. Keep checking in every few weeks or whenever you think of it. There's some good things coming. It won't be very different probably for the next month, but come April, May, June, you're going to see some major differences coming. And I'm excited. I can't wait to show you some of the stuff behind the scenes that's in the works. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you for your support. I love this community, and let's do it. Let's get this done. Let's move those rocks. Let's show up big. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.